All right, welcome everybody to our latest Live Motocross podcast. As I'm joined by former star racer Jackson Richardson, who's been bringing the heat of late with his absolutely electric banter as we chat all things A1 after the first round of the 2025 AMA Supercross season. We might even sneak some Dortmund Supercross in there too, because that was pretty wild too. But before we welcome Jats, we'd like to thank everyone for listening and supporting the site. We really appreciate it. We'd also like to thank our partners in Fly Racing, 24MX, Dirt Store, Fluke Circling, and Dragon Energy for all their incredible support, as without them, none of this would be possible. All right, welcome, mate. How's life? And thanks for joining us. Another crazy weekend of action.
Yeah, mate, life's been good. I mean, life is definitely in a good place now that Soupy is officially back on the calendar. So, no, it's good. Good racing on the weekend too. So, epic start to the season.
Yeah, mate. I guess where's the best place to start? It's probably A1, and I guess some of the content you were putting out was pretty good. Obviously, Mookie at 201 to 1. It sort of didn't start so well in the heat there, grenading himself, mate. But there was definitely some pretty spicy odds that almost came to fruition there, wasn't there?
Oh, definitely. There definitely was. I mean, hand up, I probably put the mocks on Mookie in that one. Yeah, he took a big old digger there in the heat race. Like that was a brutal wreck, and like just seeing him like the way he came down, I was like, oh man, the poor fella is just gonna have the wind knocked out of him completely in this one. But yeah, he came back into the LCQ, made it in. I mean, those things are never fun to be in, no matter who you are. I mean, those ones are always stressful, but made it in, salvaged a 10th, and yeah, not a bad way for him to rebound, all things considered, really.
Yeah, mate, it was a good one. And I guess before we get into the racing, maybe we do a quick little, I guess, betting preview of the upcoming San Diego race. And there's some pretty tasty numbers being thrown out there. Obviously, I'm liking Jason Anderson at 151 to 1. I'm not sure what race these odds makers have been watching, but Hunter Lawrence is at 81. Justin Cooper 201. So there's some interesting stuff going on there. Mookie is at 201 to 1 again. So there's
Oh
some pretty
yeah,
good looking numbers out there, isn't there?
actually, I'll have to go on and check because I did get an update like a little while ago. I think the odds have changed a bit, so I think Hunter's down to about. Actually, I think he might have been at about 67 now. I know the odds have changed a bit because yeah, Roxon started the day out at 41 to 1, and now he's down to about. I think. Oh, actually, no, he went down to about 34. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they've changed a lot from the start of the day because I was just rubbing my hands together at the start of the day, going, "Oh, I've got some heaters in here now." Because yeah, I got close on the weekend, had Kenny in there for a win, and I thought for a second I may be on because yeah, I saw Sexton stall it, and I thought, "Oh, here we go." I've I've just picked an absolute blinder here, but yeah, unfortunately, Chase Sexton foiled my plans on maybe taking the week off work. But anyway, just come back next week. But yeah, like yeah, there's especially been a lot of fluctuation at the moment because yeah, it changed so much from the start of the day. Because yeah, Mookie was still 201 to 1.
Yeah.
Barsha was even 201 to 1, even coming off of sixth place. So yeah, no, it's changing a bit. I think like yeah, we'll see it like become a bit more consistent towards like the halfway point because like it's new to the market. So they're going to see a few more races, and then like guys' average finishes will be coming in. So like the betting will be a bit more consistent. But now's the time, especially like when the markets come out first up on
Mm.
like today. I'm pretty sure was the day they came out, so Wednesday. So the start of the day on Wednesday, you got to get in, suss them out, and I'd be putting money on right there and then because I was thinking, oh, I might load the account up today, put a few on, but I was like, oh, I'll wait and see what happens. But the odds just keep dropping now, so you got to get onto it. First in, first serve.
Yeah, mate, just looking at them now, actually, they've dropped extremely, especially from Anderson this morning. He's down to 34. Tomac at 4 is not a bad bet. Yeah, Kenny's down to 34. AP's still at 91. Barsha at 201. Justin Cooper still at 201. Not a lot of love for him. Prado at
Yeah,
101. Yeah, Hunter's down to 41. And Mookie's still at 201, mate. So there's a little bit of value in some of those, isn't there?
yeah, oh, definitely. Especially, I don't know. It just seems crazy to me that those guys have such high odds. I mean, like, is there a chance that they're gonna like there is definitely a chance of one of those guys winning. They've got the talent and the speed to do it. It's just like, things have got to line up for them. So yeah, I just find it crazy that their odds are so high. So it's worth putting, a cheeky 5 or a 10 on them. You just never know if they're going to come out swinging. I mean, Sexton would have been definitely the bet to put on because he was paying, I believe, $650 for that A1 win. I'm pretty sure he was before the race started. So yeah, he was paying real good, and all the money was on Jet at $1.90, and Jet still coming in as the favorite at $1.92 on this one. So obviously everyone's thinking he's going to rebound for this one, but yeah, Sexton was obviously the pick for that one, and but yeah, no, it's crazy at the moment. It's definitely crazy that the betting's in here. I'm still getting used to the fact that Supercross is on the sports books now. So yeah, now I get to research my favorite sport, which is good.
Yeah, mate, you're the perfect man for the job in this podcast with the betting stuff for sure. And some of those match bets are pretty good. Like we're looking at the Justin Cooper Ferrandis, $1.74 on Cooper.
Yeah.
Ferrandis at $1.95. That's elite value there, isn't it? And Cooper Webb 190 versus Tomac at 180 looks pretty good too.
Yeah, good. It was crazy at the first one because me and my mates have a group message going, and we all had bets on the race, so we were chatting back and forth when the race was going on. Because I took Prado head to head over Cooper, and those two because I thought Prado would have a chance at least because he can get a start, and I mean he whole shotted the thing, so I was looking good at the start, and then a couple of laps him and Cooper are together. And then one of my friends messaged me and was like, far out, where do these guys get their info from? They've nailed this one. Cooper and them were right together from the start. And then, yeah, it was at about, I think, 10 minutes. Yeah, where Prado, he started throwing the anchor out and started getting a little out of sorts at about the 10-minute mark. And then Cooper and them were all over him. Then, unfortunately, he binned it. And then at that point, all my bets just went up in smoke at that point. So yeah, we had 3 bets on. We're now 0-3. So the record's not looking good. But the best thing is, especially with this season, there's always next weekend.
Yeah, mate, the rounds come thick and fast in Supercross for sure, mate. And I guess one last one, Jason Anderson $1.68 and AP 205. There could be a little bit each way there, couldn't there? It's sort of depending on your pick because AP just had a bit of an off night, but he's definitely at the Anderson level, mate. So at 205, there could be something there for a bounce back on AP.
Yeah, well, I just had a quick look, and I want to say at the start of the day, I don't know if I read it wrong, but I thought Anderson was at 101 to 1, I think, which if you hadn't got him then, that would have been an absolute steal. Because, yeah, now he's gone down to $34. Especially with the run he had last weekend. I mean, he got a podium, and then I didn't even know till I seen an interview with him post race that the collision off the start with Jet and a few other guys, he buckled the front wheel, had a spoke rip out. So he basically rode the whole main event on a buckled wheel, which is crazy because that would have affected things so much. I was surprised because I seen him drop back a bit. He didn't really have much for Sexton or Roxon, but he hung in there tough. And after hearing that he was riding on a wobbly wheel for the whole main event, I thought that was crazy. And then I thought, well, shoot, he would have at least had a shot at the win, I reckon, if the bike was in a decent condition. So yeah, getting him at 34, I reckon that's even tough for him on the odds because I would have even had him down a bit lower after his performance at A1. He killed it. So yeah, he's obviously another hot pick, I reckon. Yeah, him and Kenny definitely for the money that they're paying right now, they're good to take. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, mate, there's a lot of action to be had. Yeah, we'll watch those odds drop probably after your choice picks, mate. But yeah, it's pretty interesting to see how it all shapes out. But I guess on to the actual racing. What did you think of Sexton, mate? How good was it? Probably the best ride he's had in Supercross on that KTM. Showed his class and how good he can be on a start. And, he's year 2 on the KTM. There's a lot going on in the background, but he was firmly focused, mate. Controlled the race really well aside from that stall, but it was a very commanding performance, mate. And there was so much chatter about him. Will he be up there with Jet and Tomac and Webb and all these guys? But he let the riding do all the talking, didn't he, mate? Massive momentum for him. And yeah, he just kept it composed. Him and Kenny up there, he saw him off, I guess you could say, again after that stall. And just a really strong showing, consistent. And yeah, he's ready to go again. I guess with Jet having the bike issues, he'll be keen to keep the foot on the throat at San Diego, won't he?
Oh, definitely, 100%. Yes, like I guess my thoughts on him for that weekend, like I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised. Like, because I've seen a lot of footage of him right in the off season. I've watched a few of his vlogs, especially of late, like in his preseason vlogs. And just watching him, I thought, man, he looks like I mean, his style's perfect. So like, he always like looks good on a bike. But I was just thinking, man, he's looking like he's dialed in a bit here. And I mean, he's got the gas tank to go the distance. Obviously, the dude's in elite condition. But I was just like thinking, especially, he got out in front, like got a good start, got out in front quick. And then we had the little mishap where he had stalled it. And like, I bet a lot of people thought, oh, here we go. It's going to be a typical Sexton here. He gets out in front, like he's leading, and then he throws it away and like just lets a race win slip away. But that one, I reckon, it was almost a Jet Lawrence performance from what I saw. Like, gets out in front, gets a comfortable enough lead, 4 or 5 seconds, and then just keeps it there. Just maintains that distance. Whereas in the past, I feel like Sexton, it's almost a bit like how Stu was back in the day when he would just try to beat him and demoralize these guys by 30 seconds each race. And like, he'd just be out in front by a mile, and then he would just end up on the deck, and then like would just throw away a sure win, really. So yeah, it looks like he's kind of settled it down a bit and just going, you know what, don't have to win by 30 seconds. I'm in a good spot here. I'm just going to click the laps off and bring it home. Because damn, he was looking good. Just so fluent, so smooth, and like especially with Jet having a bad race as well, that's gonna even like fire him up even more to be like, all right, I've got to get him while he's down. I can't give him any chance now of like having any like life here. I gotta strike now while I got the chance and I got this opportunity.
Yeah, he's definitely got the momentum heading into San Diego. And I guess while we're on the topic
Oh,
of Jet and Hunter Lawrence, I guess, mate, yeah, really rough nights at the office for them. Not many would have had them both outside the top 10 at all. Obviously, they're having issues with the bike. It's not completely sorted yet, and they're going to be out in California testing this week to, get it up to a level where they're more comfortable. It's easier said than done. And from your perspective as well, mate, at that elite level, it must be quite the challenge trying to race with these heavy hitters who are comfortable on a bike that you're not comfortable with and you don't fully trust in everything it's doing, mate. So expect them to, ride around it to the best. Like Jet can probably ride around anything. He's that good. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they come at San Diego, mate. Just give us your insight on how challenging it must be for them, I guess, mentally as well as actually just needing the time to get it done because it's something that's probably pretty hard to fix in a week.
yeah. No, absolutely. Like, yeah, it's going to be tough to, make a complete turnaround, a complete turnaround and overhaul the motorcycle like in a week's time. It's pretty impossible to do. But like, you know what? I feel like we also, and I mean, Lars came out in an interview and said, you know what? This isn't the time to panic. And that's so true because I feel like we all, like everyone, I mean, we always get wound up around Anaheim 1, because I mean, there's been years in the past, like I remember the year, I think it was 2013, when Villapoto had that horrendous night, crashed like four or five times, ended up 17th, I believe. And like that night, I just remember, like, I think all the talk was, well, count him out of the championship. And then he ends up winning the damn thing. And he struggled for a few races that year getting going. He won one race out of like the first 5 or 6 rounds. Millsaps was on an absolute heater. Dungy was like up there in the points. So was was Reedy as well. Reedy and that was up there, and he was a fair way back in the points, and he just kept working at it, and then just ended up getting dialed in, and then just dominated the rest of that championship. Ended up being, I think it was that year, I'm pretty sure he said it was the most amount of race wins he'd had in a season. So it's that just goes to show there, it doesn't matter how you start, it's how you finish the season. And I mean, especially with Hunter and Jet, those guys have got the talent to overcome a ill handling motorcycle. It's they just got to continue to work at it. I'm sure them and the team are going to iron the kinks out, especially with Dazzy being there with them. You know what, they're going to go back to the drawing board, and they're going to figure it out at some point, and then it'll be just back to old ways, I believe. It may take 5, it may take 6 rounds. I mean, the championship doesn't really start until Daytona. If you're in the hunt by Daytona, then that's really when the championship starts. So yeah, there's a long way to go. So yeah, everyone definitely gets wound up over A1. So it was definitely a surprise. It was definitely a shock, seeing them both out of sorts the way they were. But they'll figure it out, and I reckon they'll have it figured out soon enough for sure.
Yeah, an interesting little subplot to follow, mate, as the series goes on. But yeah, fully expect them to get that dialed with the team, the structure. You know, they've got so much knowledge and insight to share, and the boys are, they've had a very active input in the bike too, so they'll know what they want and, a pretty good idea of how to fix it now, especially after having those race conditions. But yeah, look forward to that. And Kenny Roxon, mate, obviously started the day a little bit worrying. Obviously 14th in qualifying was not what we expect from Kenny, but yeah, he just gained momentum, won the heat as the day went on. And yeah, you can never deny his speed and his skill and how well those sprint laps at the start are just almost unmatched. It's just crazy the speed he has. And he's so adaptable to all these different tracks and surfaces. Like you said, Tomac, when that track, he just didn't respect Anaheim with the slickness, but Kenny's just, he's just so adaptable to these surfaces as well, mate. So he's a veteran. Obviously, he made some comments about the factory transmission as well, which is pretty cool when he was obviously talking to Pulpen in the press conference. So nice boost for him. Came in a bit sick as well. So all things considered, excellent night for Kenny, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was a big surprise to me. I mean, I was kind of going to have him around the 5th place area possibly. I mean, he always starts the season pretty hot. But yeah, in that one, yeah, and Kenny's never normally a great qualifier, so I didn't take too much out of qualifying, and yeah, just came out in the heat race, absolutely blitzed him in the heat race. And then, yeah, just got a good start on the main. I reckon Kenny's he would have to be one of the best guys at, if he's around 10th off the start, he's in 3rd by 2 or 3 laps. Just the way he starts, he's so explosive, in the first couple of laps, and just able to make his way through traffic and get up there. He's got to be one of the best guys at it. And yeah, he just made his way up and, yeah, got on the back of Sexton there after Sexton stalled it. And I thought, oh, here we go. He might be able to give him a bit of a run here. But yeah, Sexton just pulled out a lead and then he just kept it there. And but yeah, Kenny, it was a solid ride, really good ride from him. And he showed some serious aggression too. The pass he made on Anderson over the triple, that was just a boss move. Just scrubbed the hell out of it, stayed low, and then forced it in there on a guy that doesn't give you a lot of space. So it was an awesome showing from Kenny, and it's good having him up there. He's one of the more popular guys in the sport. He's a crowd favorite, so having him up the front is always good. So hopefully he can just find some consistency and maintain that momentum throughout the season, because he can easily be a title contender as well, for sure.
Yeah, mate, we've obviously spoken about Anderson. Cooper Webb, pretty quiet night. He sort of went under the radar, getting 4th there, but that's a great start to the season for him. He's always there come season's end, and he just builds the momentum. Then when the series heads east, he just lets it all happen usually. Really smart racer, great racecraft, great line selection, really a lot of bike skill and talent, and speed as well, which can sometimes be a bit underrated with Webb. But yeah, he looked good in the fly gear, mate. That's a really positive start to the season for him, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And especially like we spoke before, like he was a bit banged up from the Oz Supercross crash, and we heard he hadn't done too much on the bike since then. So I thought getting out of Anaheim 1 with a fourth was a solid showing for him. And, like, you didn't hear too much about him during the main event, really. Like, he kind of just, he started in fourth and he finished in fourth. Like, it was a good, consistent race and almost got Anderson for the third place spot right at the end there. Like, he was right on his ass. But yeah, Cooper Webb, he just never goes away. He's one of those guys too where he doesn't exactly come out red hot like to start the season. He's more like a slow burn throughout the season and just heats up, and then once like the Daytona race comes around after that, and he's always in there and just seems to find his way like into the title picture, and he just stays there. Like he's just that consistent, and then doesn't make many mistakes. Like he's pretty consistent. And so, yeah, like he'll be good once the season gets going a bit more too. So, yeah, I like what I've seen from Coop. It was just a good, solid race all around for him.
Yeah, really happy opener for him for sure, mate. And Tomac, it was all set up to have a perfect season opener. He had that spill early, mate. And yeah, he seems like he's really motivated and really on it to have a great season, which is slated as his last one. But yeah, it's looking like he could probably go a couple more, mate. He's looking that good at the moment. He was super fast in those earlier sessions too. The fans absolutely love him. They go nuts for him. He made that last lap pass on Barsha. But yeah, definitely the more Eli, the better, isn't it, mate? It's a joy to watch him, and the fans are definitely here for his last full season, as he's calling it.
Oh, heck yeah. And he looks like he's back to the Eli Tomac of old. Like you can tell when he's like he's feeling good because like the bike gets revved a little more, and just the certain way he hits things on the track, like with like so much aggression, and like he muscles the bike around. You can tell when he's feeling it. And I definitely believe if he stays up, doesn't have that tip over in the third turn, I think he wins that one because he was just like he was on rails during the day and had the good start too and had clear track, and he's always good. Like if he's out in the lead early, he seems to put the hammer down straight away and create a bit of a gap. So yeah, it was a bit of a bummer. Yeah, especially because like possibly that could be his last A1. So unfortunately to have that happen. But in a way it was awesome too because we seen Eli go back to dead last and he came back all the way through to fifth and like had a battle with Barsha right there at the end, and the crowd was absolutely going nuts. So yeah, like it's gonna be sad when he decides to hang up the boots, but for right now, we just got to enjoy it while we got it because especially right now, he looks like he's back to like the way he was when he won the championship on the Star Bike in 2022. So like it's good to see that, and yeah, like he's going to be on fire for the rest of the season, especially after letting that one go at A1. I think he's going to have the bit between the teeth for the round coming up here in San Diego.
Yeah, mate, it's going to be awesome. And obviously, Barsha getting the sixth was a really excellent effort. Another one of the older guys, the veterans, doesn't have a huge amount of time left, but be really happy with that. Obviously, made the switch to the Baker's factory, serious about having a good last few years, end to his career, mate. And he means business, and he's always a great rider to watch, and he's always working that bike and I guess creating that pressure on his opponents just with the way he rides and he's revving it. And yeah, he's just a unique beast, isn't he, mate? And I guess what was your take on his race? And we also mentioned Prado too, but just wanting to avoid the carnage as much as he can, race all 17 races, get the progress, get the momentum, stay healthy, and just keep learning as much as he can because he's not going to learn if he's out on the sidelines, mate. But there was definitely some highs and some lows for him, lots of positives to extract, which he'll be doing heading into San Diego.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just starting off with Barsha first is, I mean, to me, that says a lot about him with what he's done with his off-season program, especially at his age, because he's the same age as Tomac, so he's like 32, 33, I believe. So he's getting into the twilight of his career. And the Baker program is not a program where you go there and go, all right, I'll kick the feet up on the handlebars here and I'll ride this thing out. That's a program that is not for the faint-hearted from from just what you hear from the outside looking in. So yeah, he's just continuing to put in the work. He obviously still believes he can win. And yeah, he had a solid night, like sixth place, like had a decent start, made his way through up there, was running fifth basically the whole main event. And yeah, came out with a solid finish. I believe and he's a guy that could come out every now and again and be in contention for a win. And so yeah, it was a good showing from Bam Bam. And then Prado as well. It was probably Prado's race probably went how I expected it to go. Like he showed speed for sure, got an awesome start, which I was expecting. I mean, the guy can start. So and especially for Supercross, it's always good to start up the front and get towed by those top guys up the front there. And then yeah, it seemed like about halfway through he got a little bit out of sorts. He was riding a little bit radical there, especially around some of the guys. He was riding very defensive, and ended up having a bit of a get off in the whoops. But I mean, for a guy he said he only spent 4 weeks riding Supercross leading into this thing. And I mean, from what I heard, he had a pretty gnarly get off at one point, and I think he hit his head pretty good. So he took a little bit of time off from that. But I mean, for a guy that is very inexperienced with Supercross, I thought it was a good showing. He's got the first round out of the way, and for him, and Ricky said it on the broadcast as well. If he could shoot between that 7 to 10 area, like the P7 to P10 in around that area, I think that's really good for him. And then the big thing is just making it through every round, just being out there every race, because the best ability is availability. And so, just being out there every race, clocking the laps in, getting the experience up, that's going to be the key for him, during the season. So yeah, it was a solid night all around for him. Got to lead for a little bit, for 2 corners, and then yeah, got in the mix with a few of the guys, and then yeah, unfortunately had a little tip over in the whoops. But all in all, not a bad night for the boy.
Yeah, mate, well said. Building nicely. And as we work down, Justin Hill, what a great effort getting 8th. Even past Tomac back, he was really on it. So he's obviously been putting in the work, and the program's really dialed for this year. And it's showed at A1 with a great result. You wouldn't have probably had him finishing ahead of AP and even Mookie, although, Mookie had that adversity. So a very brave effort to get 10th from there, mate. But obviously, as we head down, mate, no Nichols or Ferrandis couldn't get out of the LCQ, mate. So it just shows how deep the field is in many ways as well, mate. They're all charging at A1, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, the LCQs are never where you want to be. Yeah, and yeah, Nichols got taken down in the second corner, and that's just not how you want to start a season. And then Ferrandis as well. Ferrandis is one. I feel like he kind of did it to himself, trying to go around the outside of Ryan Brees, who will not give you any room, and he'll fight for any position. And I got to race with Ryan for a few years, and I absolutely love that dude. He's just an absolute grinder. So I knew he was gonna hold him out there a bit, and then yeah, he just put it over the boom, and then that was Ferrandis' night done. And so yeah, that's never the way you want to start a season, having an 0-1 making the main event. So yeah, those guys have got a little bit of work to do. I'm sure they'll be clocking up the laps this week on the cycle and at the test track to rebound at San Diego.
Oh, mate, it's going to be a big one for sure. And I guess to finish up on the 250s, obviously Shimoda, how good was that? And obviously his mechanic, Ben Griffiths, what a legend as well, mate. So great for him. But yeah, Shimoda, when he gets that start, he's so impressive, and he can hold that speed really well and plug those consistent laps in. He's a really stylish and technical rider. And yeah, when he's in his own air, he's just so good. And even held off the hard charging Juju as well, which was no mean feat because he was fast all day. And yeah, much respect for him. He's obviously been putting in the work with Davey Millsaps, and same with Ryder. Yeah, impressive. Jordan Smith on the Triumph, mate, very impressive. Obviously had that spill early, but recovered to third, and he'll be a legitimate title threat with Deegan sort of dropping those points, even though his ride was absolutely elite, going from last to fifth essentially. And then obviously some words for Cole Davies as well, mate, going from last to eighth as well. So impressive, second in the heat. obviously vindication for him and the team's decision to race west. Obviously, he was slated for futures, but the progression and development's just been so elite. So the speed and skills impressive, and a lot of people out there saying he might even be better than Jet Lawrence at that age of 17. So some big claims there.
Oh yeah, definitely. It'd definitely be an awesome feeling to get mentioned in that aspect with Jet Lawrence. Like anytime you mentioned like in something along with Jet Lawrence is always good to hear. And yeah, Cole Davies, man, like awesome ride for the young fella. And because I hadn't seen too much of him riding leading into the series, but from what I was hearing of everyone, and well, I was actually surprised when they did put him out west because I thought with him coming in, I think at first, I think they were going to put him in futures first, like he was going to do another year in that, and then they got him at the track and like riding with the other star guys, and they were like, "Man, this kid is absolutely ripping. We might just bump him up into the pro ranks already." And then to put him on the West Coast, that just shows me he's picked it up and gotten more and comfortable quicker than what they were expecting. And then they put him in the mix with them. And I mean, what an awesome showing. Like getting second in the heat race to Deegan, who's hands down like the fastest 250 guy on the planet really at the moment. Like I would think that's fair to say he's the fastest 250 guy. I mean, hanging in there with him for a bit there in the heat race, and then going down to the main event, coming from a ways back to a top 10 finish. What an awesome ride for him. And watching him ride, he looks so smooth and comfortable. So yeah, it's awesome to see. It's good to see another Trans-Tasman over there, getting in amongst it and holding it down for the guys down under here and over in NZ. So yeah, it's awesome to see. It was good for him, and I mean, just a massive win for Joe Shimoda. Like especially with the season he had last year, like just getting the bad starts every week, was just always seen to be in carnage. Had the bike issue at San Diego in the mud. Like things just never went smoothly for him. And then seems like the first hole shot I've ever seen him get in the whole time I've been watching him in the pros, and just gets out in front and just rides probably one of the most flawless races you've ever seen. Like I don't think at any point I seen him put a foot wrong in that main event. Just zero mistakes, looked comfortable, and he had Juju all over him. Yeah, and Beaumare was on a heater all day, like was P1 in qualifying, and then I believe, I'm just trying to remember, did he win his heat race or he got second?
It was him.
Yeah, like he looked like he was on fire all day, and especially because I watched some press day footage the day before, and sometimes you don't really see the speed, but you see the guy's body language on a bike, and you just go, okay, this guy's feeling it. And I was watching Beaumare go around, and I was like, that's the guy that looks like he's flowing and he's looking comfortable. And then watching him in qualifying, I was like, dude, he looks like a completely different guy from last year. He looks like he's on one. And then, qualified P1. And then I thought in the main event, like he got up to Joe straight away and then started making a couple of mistakes here and there. I think he was just trying to force the issue too much to maybe try to get up on Joe and make a pass. But then it seemed like once he fell back a little bit, like he just sort of packed it in and was pretty content with second. So it was a solid night for him. It's a good way to start for sure. And then I don't know if you've seen his post-race podium interview, because that was, I believe, his first Supercross podium. And he just seemed like he just was not interested in that being his first podium. He wanted the win. And I was like, man, for a guy that was his first Supercross podium, he just does not seem stoked at all. So he's fired up and he wants the win, and he feels like he let one slip there. So I'm ready to see some big things out of Julian Beaumare this season because, he's on one at the moment. I think they got his program dialed in a bit. obviously it's a big feather in the cap having Davey Millsaps in your corner. So yeah, I'm looking for big things out of Beaumare for the rest of the season for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one to follow. Definitely put himself in the title contention sort of frame as well, even though it's going to be hard to beat Deegan, mate. But before we wrap this one up, any final thoughts, bit of preview of San Diego, and obviously any memories for yourself of racing San Diego, looking it up. You had a 12th there in 2015, mate. So tell us a bit about that, racing in San Diego, the vibes and all that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, I love San Diego. That place is it was one of my favorite spots to go when I was living over there because I was living in the Marietta area and like going down there for the Supercross, and every now and again we'd go down there for a weekend. It was always an awesome spot. But yeah, I always loved that round because it was always usually when I was racing there, it was always the sixth round, and it was military appreciation weekend usually at that round. So that one was always awesome, especially like the stuff they do for that round to like pay respects to like their military veterans and all that. That was like always such a cool thing to be a part of. It was almost like when they do stuff over here for Anzac Day. Like it was just so like it's so awesome to be a part of stuff like that. And then it was one of my favorite pieces of gear we got when I was with ANSA. We had the camo military gear with a big Operation Homefront logo on there. So that's like one of my favorite jerseys that I ever got in my time. So yeah, San Diego is just an awesome place. So we'll see, because I believe it's at that Snapdragon Stadium. Seems like the last couple of times there's been a threat of rain there this time of year. So we'll see. I think that by the looks of it, weather will be meant this weekend. So yeah, won't be too much of a drama with that. But yeah, San Diego will be good, and I'm excited to see, especially because I think in both classes it went in completely opposite directions of what we thought was going to happen. So especially to have that at the first round in both classes is like, it's awesome because now we're sort of in an unknown. Like Jet's struggling a little bit, and then Deegan didn't have the greatest night, and a lot of other guys have come up and put their hand up and put their hat in the ring to get in the title fight. So, it's awesome to see. The sport's in a good place at the moment.
Yeah, well said, mate. And last one, what's the week ahead looking like for you heading into the weekend, mate? You'll be slogging away on the tools, no doubt, but the bets and the heaters on socials will be dropping too, won't they?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we got a few vids on the socials that we're cooking up. Definitely doing some research into this weekend. Might have to go through a few previous San Diego results to see if I find a pattern in there. But yeah, I'll be grinding away on the tools. I'll be getting my tan going up on a roof at the moment. So yeah, that's always good. But yeah, other than that, I'll just be hanging out. I'll be getting my round of golf in on Sunday morning before Subi kicks off, and then I'll be stuck straight into it.
Sounds good, mate. Thanks again for joining us. Always a ripper chat and always lots of good banter and laughs and great insight as well from obviously having raced over in the States in the Supercross for so many years. So before we wrap this one up, we'd obviously like to thank the sponsors in Fly Racing, 24MX, Dirt Store, Fuchs Silkaline, and Dragon Energy for all their incredible support. As without them, nothing's be possible. All right, thanks again, Jats, mate. Been a ripper chat. All the best, and we'll do it again next week.
Sounds good, mate. Will do.
No worries, mate. Have a good one.